Welcome everyone. In today's video I'm going to show you how I'm going to make the front door and the back door for the Old West Hotel. I designed and cut all of my pieces on my Cameo 4. I already have all of the layers glued together. I always start off by cutting several layers of the piece and then I glue them all together to create one thicker piece. The thickness of my wall is what determined how thick I was going to make all my layers. So I knew that I needed the core parts of my wall to be thicker, and then these are just trim pieces that made up the layers that I needed to get it to be the right thickness of my wall. And for all the trim pieces I glued 4 layers together for each one, except for the bottom part of the door, and I just did 2 layers of this piece and 2 layers of this piece, which still comes out to be 4 layers. This is the front and back piece of my door, and then I will lay the insert over it that will hold the panes of glass. So I believe I only ended up gluing 2 layers together for this piece because I just needed it to be as thick as my glass. So this is flush with that. Then this piece that looks just like this one will glue on, and it will encase those windows. There will be another plastic piece over here. I just don't have it cut yet. And so you won't have to glue the window in. It'll just rest in its little spot. Before I glue all of the decorative pieces onto the door, I first need to sand everything lightly. But I'm not going to sand around the edge of the outside of the door, just the inside of the pieces. Here I am gluing all of the decorative pieces onto the front door. I start with the 2 door panels first. Once they are glued into place, then I add the rest of the trim. And this is how it looks so far. I was excited to see how my etched glass panels look, so I'm just holding them up on the back side to get an idea. This is how I made my etched glass panel. I used a Gelly Roll 10 pen, but first I traced out the size of my window pane, and then I sketched out a little drawing that I wanted to be on the glass, and then I take my pen and I just trace over my lines. You have to rub it a little bit to get the ink going, but it does work, and it does stay on really well. Okay, here is my little window pane. It's all painted, it's still wet, so I'm going to be careful. And here's how it looks on the other side. I decided to paint a thin layer, kind of a textured layer of Mod Podge over my design to protect it and also to make it look a little bit foggy, but it didn't come out too foggy. I'm trying to get a good angle to show you. Here I'm sealing the front and the back door sections with Mod Podge. I've noticed that I like to scratch the wood grain into the cardstock now after I've done the Mod Podge. It just seems crisper. I like to put some cut lines in where it looks like where the wood starts and ends. It looks realistic to me that way. Here's how the exterior door looks with all of the wood grain scratched into it. On the interior door side, I decided to just keep it smooth and not rough it up any at all. I mixed half and half of raw umber and black together, and now I'm just doing a base coat on the interior and exterior side of the doors. Mix this red and this burnt umber to paint the interior and exterior side of the doors. On this exterior side, I'm trying to not paint perfectly. I'm trying to leave some spots thinner than others. And here I was wondering if it was really matching my window color, so I was holding up the molding in the window to check and make sure before I got too far. I just love the texture on this exterior door. It came out really well. I'm very happy with it. Here's how the interior and exterior doors look painted. I just can't wait to finish this door so I can see how it looks with the glass inserts. Next, I'm gluing the window insert to the interior door section. I'm making sure that I wipe away all of the glue that has oozed out. I just couldn't help myself, so I had to put the glass insert in just to get a sneak peek of what it's going to look like. I think I'm going to like it. It looks pretty good. I like the texture that the Mod Podge created. Here are all of the pieces for the smaller door that will be on the back. I started off by gluing the core pieces of the door together first. I glued all of the layers together for each of the decorative pieces, the door trim and the door inserts. Not shown here, but I did sand the interior part of the decorative piece and these little door decorative pieces, but that's purely optional. Then I just glue all of the decorative pieces onto the door front. And for the door back, I glue everything together just as I did for the door front. And just like for the front door of the hotel, the thickness and the layers all depends upon your wall thickness. On the exterior side of this door, I scratched in some of the wood grain and the aging. And on the interior side of this door, I just left it smooth. And I didn't show it, but I created the door trim piece for each side. I also base coated each door side with Mod Podge and black. I mixed the same colors as I did for the front door of the hotel and painted both door pieces and the trims. I took a little bit of tan and I dry brushed it here and there just to make the wood look a little bit dry. But then I started thinking it looked a little pinkish, so I took some of the door color and dry brushed it here and there over what I had just dry brushed. On the exterior side of both the front and back door, I added in just a little bit more of the red, not everywhere, just here and there. Now I'm gluing the interior and the exterior side of the small door together. I apply glue on the front door piece that has the window inset. Then I lay my glass pieces in, and then I press the front and the back door together. I made sure when I laid my glass pieces in that the side that I painted it from was facing in the same direction and not opposite of each other. I also put a little bit of masking tape in each corner just to keep it from shifting when I laid something heavy on it. Just be careful if you happen to try this, that when it's dry and you're pulling the tape off, maybe warm the tape up a little bit with your heat gun or a hairdryer so it pulls off and doesn't pull up your paint. It's not shown here, but I did also put something heavy over the small door while it dried. And now it's time to create the doorknobs. Cut some skinny strips of cardstock in the shape of a doorknob plate, and I glued a couple layers together. I wanted to create some keyholes quickly, so I just drilled a little hole into each doorknob plate. I made sure to sand a little bit on each side to remove some of that where the cardstock puffs up a little bit when you drilled it. For each doorknob, I paper quilled a little disc. Then I just glued it onto the doorknob plate. I saw this little technique on a blog I like to visit called Cinderella Moments, and she took some wire and she twisted it and then twisted it into a shape of an S, and I just glued that on to be the decorative knobs on the very front exterior side of the hotel door. I took a little bead and I glued it to the top of each one of my doorknobs. It really wasn't necessary, but I thought it would be kind of decorative. I painted wood glue over the whole doorknob and door plate. I was hoping that it would just mesh everything together. Here's how that looks. I mixed some glue and black paint together and base coated everything with that. Gretchen from Little Gretchen's Workshop, if you're watching, I need some rub and buff. I keep forgetting to buy it. So I was trying to create something to give my knobs a little bit of a metallic look. So I mixed some Pearl X pigment powders with some Mod Podge. Since my doors are a darker color and the knobs are almost the same color, I dry brushed a little bit of black over them to kind of make them pop. But rub and buff would have been perfect for that. They aren't glued on, I just have them taped on to show you. But here is the front door. And here's how the back door turned out. I'm so happy with how these two doors turned out. And I'm very happy that I didn't wait and like I usually do, and I finished the doorknobs at the same time. Thank you for watching, and I will see you next week.